Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to That's Football. I hope you're all doing well. The Premier League is back and we are back with you live for these 3 o'clock games. They might not be the most glamorous. You know, I would agree with you there. They might not be the most glamorous, but we love football and that is what we're here to do, as well as have some nice Saturday afternoon chat. So I hope you're all doing very, very well. Of course, you are always very, very welcome on this channel. And we've got the North London derby going on tomorrow. Fancy Premier League, all the goals as they go in and general conversation as well. How are we doing? And of course, Manchester United, massive game against Burnley tonight. We'll be doing that live on the United Stand as well. Big shout out to everyone who's been watching the FIFA career mode. It's not the FIFA career mode, it's the EAFC career mode, but you know what I mean. Massive support for that. Please do support the podcast as well. Links in the live chat. Give it a download now for later. We are smashing eggs in relation to that. You know, we're going up against the mainstream and we really appreciate your support. How are you doing, Mark? Says Jelena. I'm doing well. I did the morning show. I've just been out to watch a bit of football. My daughter was playing football, so I've just been to watch that, which is great. Nice to get out supporting amateur football and grassroots football, etc., and all that, you know, positive PR. But yeah, good. And you know, I feel like I've had a bit of exercise, so I can sit down and watch a bit of football with you all now. So our featured game is going to be Man City against Nottingham Forest. I think that we would expect that to be quite a comfortable win for Manchester City. Ederson, Walker, Akanji, Ruben Diaz, Vardiel, Nunez, Rodri, Foden, Alvarez, Doku and Haaland. It's looking like an evolution of Man City, isn't it? With Vardiel, Nunez and Doku in the team. It's just the way that Pep... Look, it's very easy to transition year on year when you're backed by billions, but they just seem to be able to lose 3 players and add 3 players in every year. It's just... Pardon the pun, it's a well-oiled machine, isn't it? It's a boring machine, unless you're a Man City fan, but it's a well-oiled machine. Can Forest put anything up today? Don't know. Crystal Palace are at home to Fulham, and Luton are at home to Wolves, which I think is quite interesting. We'll keep updates on all of those scores, of course. Let me just make sure I've got my earpiece in so I can hear what's going on in all of these games as well. Appreciation for that. Lovely stuff. So, yeah, great stuff. And let's have a look what people are saying in the chat. Amrabat back. You seen that bench for Man City? It's unbelievable, says Callum. I haven't seen a bench like that since... I just haven't seen a bench like that. Their bench is Phillips, Aki, Grealish, Ortega, Gomez, Carson, Bob, Lewis. It's not that good. Oh, is that the point? It's not a great bench for Man City. Yeah, they've got a lot of injury problems themselves. You know, boo-hoo. Let's get what's the word? Sympathetic for Man City, which we're not going to do. Just pop a tweet out. But there's some interesting 3 PMs. Solihull Moors in the National League, we'll be keeping an eye on that. I was down there yesterday doing some football stuff with them, doing really, really well. I hope they get promoted. I'd love them to see them do well, but it's a big game. Lissandro Martinez news, says Shaz. Yeah, disappointing that about Lissandro. But, you know, what you're going to do, what can you do? It is what it is and all that jazz, you know. You can't do that. Non-United stand, Goldbridge is so much better, says Ben. There are many strings to my bow, Ben. I will be United Stanbridge this evening. I'd love Forest to get something here, Juice, but I don't know whether they will. Chris says, I'm a City fan. I don't even know who Bob is. Well, Bob is on your bench. Yeah, number 52, Bob. B-O-B-B. Answers on a postcard there. Do we think Luton are going to get their first points of the season, by the way? Is this going to be the time that Luton get their first points of the season? No, I think Wolves will beat them. I think Wolves are underestimated. Can I just say before we start the stream though, and I'll start putting the stats carousel up in a moment, but you may well see on the screen that we've got Surfshark sponsoring the show. Links in the video description as well. Surfshark is a virtual private network, a VPN, and one of the best things about Surfshark is their data protection services, making sure private messages, photos, videos and other sensitive material is protected. But my personal favourite feature, and I think the thing you will like, is that if you're in a different location, such as Netflix, if you're in the UK and you want to, you're on holiday from New York, you can change your location to New York even though you're in the UK. So the device that you're using thinks you're in New York. So it's really good for that sort of thing. And you can use it across as many devices as you like, even if it's at the same time. So you can be on your phone, on your laptop, etc. And it's available on all platforms from Android, iOS. I think you get the picture. Surfshark has even more features to offer as well. One of them being the alerts. This feature will notify you when your personal information has been leaked online. But the big thing is, because Surfshark are super nice, they're giving That's Football viewers 83% off. And the first 3 months free when you use the code That's Football. So not 1, not 2, but 3 months free. Link is in the description. You can scan the QR code. Fantastic little bit of kit. If you've never used a VPN before, check out Surfshark. If you have, check out Surfshark. Thank you very much to them. Really appreciate it. Right, let's get this stats carousel rolling around. And straight away we go to the stats, which I didn't want to do. I actually wanted to go straight to the Manchester City side because you can see it on the screen there. So this is going to update for you. We've also got the league table. Manchester City protecting a domination of what I think they will be. I predicted they would win the league by Christmas, and I think we all agree they will. Lucas says, I trust Ten Hag, especially after last year, but if we don't get an extremely positive result against a decent Burnley team, I'm afraid we will lose fans. Yeah, Lucas, it's a massive game tonight, and I'm absolutely incredibly looking forward to it, as I'm sure many of us are. How many do we think Man City are going to win by? Look, they'll win. 3-0 says Ger. They will win. Part of me is like, I think Luton Wolves is the better game, but we'll keep you up to date on what's going on around the grounds today. What's the news on Martinez? Says Thomas. Apparently Martinez is out injured. It's a rumour. It's from a source that's been correct in the past. We don't know what the situation is with Amrabat, Mason Mount, Raphael Varane, Harry Maguire. Some people might hope that Harry Maguire is still injured, but if we've got a defensive crisis, we could do with him being fit, really. What's your thoughts on Ivan Toney possibly going to Arsenal? I think it's a good fit. I think Man United themselves need players who can come in and do a job as well. So yeah, it's a good fit for Manchester United and for Arsenal and Chelsea and anybody else, I think, at the end of the day. But there we go. Amrabat's on the bench. Says how... Vinit, how do you know Amrabat's on the bench? The team would not be leaked this early. And if anybody is leaking the Man United team at 3 o'clock on a game day we need to win, they need calling out and binning off. It's not... Leaking a team when it's an important game, no. It's stupid to do that. So if someone's leaked that team out, they may as well go and support Burnley. It's not good enough. So there we go. We haven't leaked that out at all. We wouldn't do that because we've had an agreement that we won't do that. So we wouldn't do that. Hi Mark, score prediction. It's Burnley game today. I predict a win or a draw. And says Nelly. And Lukey Boy says hi Mark. Forest are going to get smashed, says Stuart. Thanks Stuart for that. And Darren says, speaking of leaks, I'm going for one myself. What's my prediction for today? In relation to what game, mate? In relation to what game? Well, it started off here, and of course it started off with Manchester City dominating the possession. You know what I'm having for tea tonight? I'm having a Chinese takeaway. Ain't no one going to stop me. Unless, well, what could stop me is if... what could stop me is if there is no Chinese takeaway open, which has happened to me before. You're going to do any Ultimate Team yet, says Alan. I'm going to get into a bit of pro clubs. Apparently someone said it's awful. Palace versus Fulham predictions. So my predictions for the 3 o'clock games are thus. I think that what will happen is you will get a win for Man City, a win for Crystal Palace, and a win for Wolves. That's my thoughts. Johnny's going to have a lovely chicken curry, but he had it last night. And if anybody has played any, I tell you what, it's nearly 1-0 to Man City already. They've just had a free kick, whipped over the whipped over the wall. Keeper makes a standard save, but an early tester for Manchester City. Has anybody played any EAFC Ultimate Team? I don't really care what people think about this because it's not coming from a sexist position, because my daughter plays football. I watched a lot of women's football. I think women's football is progressing all the time and I enjoy watching it. But I will say this, it's a preference. I don't like the female players in Ultimate Team. I just don't like that. I don't like it on pro clubs either, you know. We don't have that in real life, so why do we have it on a computer game? That's not sexist. Like, that's not sexist at all. My daughter plays FIFA, and she's like that. I don't why they're mixing up the women with the men on it. And look, if that's what you want, enjoy it. But to me, I don't see why we have to do it. If it happens in real life, great. But why do we have to have it on Ultimate Team? It's not what happens on Ultimate Team. So, you know, I think you're catering for a very small percentage of people who want it, when the vast majority of people would prefer not to have it. But that's just an opinion. And ultimately, we've got it. So get on with it. Forest having a bit of a break here. You know, it's not. It doesn't happen on career mode, does it? But having said that, I haven't used it yet, so I don't know. But you know, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Ultimate Team, but if I'm playing Ultimate Team, and you know, I've got Messi and Neymar, I don't want Ella Toon in the attacking midfield. It just doesn't feel realistic. And I know Ultimate Team's not realistic, but I don't want that. I don't want to have a, you know, female centre back playing with, you know, prime Maldini or something like that. It's not what I'm interested in doing when I'm playing Ultimate Team, if I play Ultimate Team. I mean, it's not that deep, but, you know, as a preference, I don't think it's... why is it an issue to say I'd rather... You know, it's like saying I'd rather have a Chinese takeaway tonight than an Indian. It's just a preference. You know... but as James says, you don't have to use them then. Exactly. You don't have to use them. And it's a personal choice. And I suppose that's what... You know, some United fans have been moaning that Mason Greenwood's in the game and he's on loan with Getafe and you could have him back playing for Man United. Is that not real? Yeah, he is on loan at Getafe. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sell him. I'm going to get rid of him because that's my stance. And if your stance is you would rather have a player playing for you because he's decent, then you can pick him. They should have much lower ratings, says A. What's your opinion on just discarding any female that you get in it? Well, but I haven't played Ultimate Team yet. I mean, ultimately, if they're quite good, it's probably worth keeping them. But I just would rather that wasn't the case. I think you don't need to do it. But I play career mode anyway. Career mode and pro clubs. And the good thing about pro clubs is it's always been like that, isn't it? You can be... Oh, Man City are nearly 1-0 up, and they are 1-0 up. It's as simple as that. It's Phil Foden, and they're just too good for this league. Let's be honest, they're just too good for this league. 1-0 after 6 minutes. I don't know how Man City... you know what? I don't understand how Man City players celebrate so much. I mean, it's so fucking easy for them. They celebrate like they've scored the winner in the Champions League final. Like, it's so easy for them. They're so good. They're so far ahead. I think it's an assist for Doku, is my thought. No, it's Kyle Walker. He's well on. It's Kyle Walker. Yeah, Kyle Walker, Phil Foden. That's a lovely finish from Foden. And it's just too easy. It's just so easy for them. So, yeah, that's probably game over in the Man City game. There's the league table for you. Nottingham Forest not even in the bottom half, so they don't need to be worrying about that. But Man City looking at another 3 points. Xander said that is so sad that the game is over before it started. To be honest with you, it was over before it was over in June. Let's be honest. Nottingham Forest going to Man City. This tie was over in June. I mean, Man City are that good now. You can look at well over the half their fixtures and say, just give them the points now. Luton home and away, Forest home and away, Bournemouth home and away, Sheffield United home and away. You know, they're just on a different level. They're on a different level. Do you think that EAFC is a game worth buying? Also, what do you think are the best Bundesliga teams, says Eddie. I haven't really played enough of EAFC to say whether it's better than last year's FIFA. I've got to play a little bit more of it, but I'm quite enjoying it at the moment. I mean, I've only played a couple of hours. I mean, I tell you what, if this goes any worse, I might play a bit of Pro Clubs. United home and away. I knew someone did do that one, PJ. I knew you'd do that one. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. And if you want something to click, as I said, big shout out to the podcast. Please give it a download. We're desperately trying to just stay in that top 4 position and stay relevant with the old, the mainstream in the podcast world, and your support has been fantastic so far. So please give us some support and give it a listen. Links in the live chat. You can download it on Spotify, iTunes. Please support the podcast. And we're even looking at in the new year taking the podcast on tour. So that would be great if you want to be at one of those events. Then start listening to the podcast so you know what it's all about. This game's going to end 6-1 to City, says Darren. Let me just keep you up to date with other scores that are going on at the moment. It is still 0-0 between Crystal Palace and Fulham. It is 0-0, of course, between Wolves and Luton, or should I say Luton and Wolves. But Man City making quick and easy work here of Nottingham Forest. 1-0 already, and it's a great goal by Phil Foden. Even if I say so myself, very talented player, Phil Foden. And he's got his best years ahead of him, and he's already won about 90 Premier League trophies as it is. Luton are playing good at the moment, says Savage. Southgate is at the Man City game, says Daniel. Well, he ain't going to learn anything, is he? He's probably, you know what Southgate is, why Southgate's at the at this Man City game? To get a look at Calvin Phillips. Yeah, he's here to look at Calvin Phillips on the bench again. And Mark, do you think Arsenal or Liverpool have a chance of winning against City or winning the league? Says Gary. I think I think Liverpool or Arsenal could get a result against Man City, but what Man City will win the league for is because of consistency. Arsenal have already dropped points at home to Fulham. Liverpool, I think, potentially can drop points. Man City just will not drop points. They just will not drop any points at all. But it's interesting, isn't it, when you look at the Sangari playing for Forest here today as well. Interested to see how he does. Late on Nunez there. But it is interesting to see how where Man City's first loss is going to be. I don't think anybody expects Man City to do the Invincibles, but if anybody's going to do it, it probably will be them. Kevin De Bruyne is not playing, no. No. BS says, I'm just waiting for this era to end. They're just so dominant. They're so dominant. And you have to give credit to them. I mean, hopefully they'll get fined and banned and kicked out from the financial fair play charges, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. But we shouldn't be surprised by this. Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world, and he's got the best facilities in the world, and he's got the biggest checkbook in the world. So it's not like a surprise. You have to acknowledge it and you have to say it's really, really good. But, you know, it's I accepted this when they won the treble. They're on a different level, aren't they? They're on a different level and nobody can live with it. They've got the best striker in the world. They've got the best holding midfielder in the world. They've got the best collection of defenders in the world. They've got one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You know, they've got the best infrastructure in the world. They've got one of the best sporting directors in the world. Chelsea all the way says this guy is so jealous. But what's wrong with that? Like, you know, you get people saying, oh, bitter, cry me more tears. But is that not what competitive sport is all about? You know, every time I've lost a game in my life, whether it's watching Man United or playing, of course I'm bitter and jealous. What's the point in putting your shirt on? What's the point in supporting competitive sport if you're not bitter and jealous of someone who wins instead of you? Is that not the thing that drives you to be better? Or are you just a loser? Like, I don't get what the point. I don't get what the problem is with acknowledging that you're bitter and jealous of a rival who are way better than you. It's the mentality of a winner or somebody who wants to win. You don't just sit there and go, oh, it's fine. You know, to be fair, they play lovely football. I'll say they play lovely football. 2-0. Literally 2-0, just as I said that. But it's so easy for them. Like, they're carving this Forest side about. This is like, they're not even out of gear yet. It's just easy. Absolutely easy. It's embarrassing how easy it is for Manchester City. And I tell you what, here's a message to the Premier League that they won't want, and you can clip this up. It's Haaland who scored, it's Nunez with the assist. Send this to the Premier League. Best league in the world. You've got a big problem, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a team in this league that is devastatingly better than everybody else. So you think you've got the best league in the world, you've got a problem. You've got a league like the Bundesliga now. You've got a league that's entertaining behind the best team, which is way, way too good. And people say you weren't moaning when Man United were doing this. I don't think Man United were as dominant as Man City are. Like, Man City are, you know, as I lived it as a Man United fan, and we won a lot of Premier Leagues, but I don't think we were really, like, absolutely dominant, like, every single season. We had Liverpool compete with us, Arsenal, Chelsea. They are just completely dominant. You know they've won it in August. Like, you know they've won it in June. And the Premier League's got a big problem because they are too good. And I don't see it letting up. Because every time people go, oh, Gundogan's gone now. De Bruyne's injured now. Like, last season, Jesus, Sterling, Zinchenko went and people thought, oh, you can't afford to lose those three. They go and win the treble. This season, Gundogan, Mahrez go. I think somebody else went as well. Doku, Nunez come in. Somebody else, Vardiel comes in. He just rotates that squad so well. And they're just on a different level to everybody else. Premier League's got a massive problem because there's not many people who actually enjoy watching Man City. The numbers will tell you that. But they are comfortably the best team in the league. And we've got a problem in this league because it is the best league in the world, but it's also the most predictable league in the world now with the Bundesliga and the French league. In my opinion. How do you solve it? I don't know. Also, just had a super chat come in from Jack. He says, the difference is United were winning the league with 70 points. You don't get top four with that now, says Jack. Yeah, look, Man City fans enjoy it. Like, you know, of course everybody's bitter and jealous about you. I think anybody who says that they're not. They're a liar. But I think the most important thing is, hey up! Hey up! Hey up! Well, it's only going to be a foul on the edge of the box. It's a yellow card. I'll tell you what, I'd love it to be a red. It's a very this is a typical Man City foul. That, it won't be a penalty and it won't be a red card. And the referee's got it completely right, to be fair. It's not a penalty. It's nowhere near the box. Edge of the box free kick for Forest. But yeah, I mean, look, I lived the Man United years, and to be fair, they were always very entertaining. There was very rarely a season where we ran away with it. The year that we won the treble, went to the final day against Spurs in '99. The year that in '08, I think we got pushed. Most seasons we won the league, we got pushed to the last 3 or 4 games of the season. I just don't think Man City do. Liverpool have done it a couple of times. But I think this season City are going for the invincible record. They probably won't acknowledge it, but I wouldn't be surprised as Kay. Yeah, I think Pep Guardiola has to, and I respect Pep about that. It's he tried to play down the treble, but he wanted that treble. There ain't no way he didn't want it. He's a man of legacy, and he wanted that treble, and he got it. And I think he'll never acknowledge the Invincibles, but he will want the Invincibles. I will guarantee you in that dressing room, that is a focus. We want to win. We want to go unbeaten all season. Mark, I could see De Zerbi as the perfect replacement for Pep, says Liam. Yes, you can see that. Glazers don't even care how far we are from them, says Michael Walter. And but the interesting thing is, I don't want City to go invincible. I don't want City to go invincible. But if they did go invincible, it would absolutely destroy Arsenal's, because Arsenal became obsessed by that invincible thing. Arsenal drew 12 games. Like 12 games Arsenal drew. They didn't win the FA Cup, they didn't win the League Cup, and they didn't win the Champions League. They became absolutely obsessed with that invincible thing. So much so that, some games they were like, let's shut up the shop and draw. So I don't think Man City can do the Invincibles. I really don't. I remember Arsenal doing it, and as I say, they became obsessed with it, and they became so obsessed with it that they became almost defensive with it, and that's why they drew a lot. Luton are absolutely dominating Wolves at every turn, says Andrew. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. So Forest have got a free kick here. There's no way it's going in, and it doesn't go in. It goes wide for a corner. We really do get some thick people in the chat. They can't even put a sentence together. Do better at school or learn the language. I can't even read what you're writing, some of you. We should have beaten them last year, it says Real Life. I don't think Arsenal should have won the title last year. You got 43 points from your first 48 games. From your first 48, you got 43 from 48, and you still couldn't get away. They're unbelievable. They're unbelievable. But look, I am jealous. I am bitter, and I would challenge anybody that isn't, and say why. Why are you not? Because that's what winning's all about. But on the other hand, I also think the Premier League have got a problem because they are too dominant, and you want competition. Spot on, innit? You mentioned Man City and literally best in class in everything from top to bottom. United don't even have good enough in any. It's a disgrace, says Daniel. I said City would have the league won by Christmas. What I meant by that is, if City get 10 points ahead, that's when it's over. No, they are not going to blow a 10-point lead, and I think by Christmas they'll be 10 points clear. So that's what I meant when I said they'll have it won by Christmas, because I can't see them. I just can't see it not being the case. Are you looking forward to the game tonight, Mark? I am. I mean, in a very different way. I'm sure that Newcastle fans, Brighton fans, Villa fans, Chelsea fans, a lot of the Spurs fans, we're not looking already in, probably already in August. We're not looking at, have we got an outside chance of being in a title race? Absolutely not. we're already thinking, have we got an outside chance of being in a top 4 race? So for Man United, it's a massive game tonight. City players make obvious decisions, says Kyle. And the issue is not City, it's Pep and his system, says Eric. You know what, though? Like, I, over the last few weeks, have been watching a lot of amateur football. Because Seb plays now, and my daughter plays, and there's a couple of other teams that I go and watch, like friends, or family, etc. It absolutely amazes me at nearly every single level how at least one of the teams I watch will literally just be hitting long balls most of the game. Like literally hitting long balls. And I was watching it today, and I said to my wife, like, the opposition kept doing it, and I said, this is hard to watch. It's so hard to watch, because all they're doing is they're hitting these percentage balls 30, 40 yards and hoping that the defender misses it so that the striker runs through one-on-one. And it didn't happen. In the whole game, it didn't happen. And I said, it's, you know, in some ways, it's a little bit like Man United over the last few years. We do it to Rashford. We play this percentage ball. And I'm like, you know, I was coaching an under-11s team a few years ago, and everybody we played said, you're one of the best footballing leagues you're one of the best footballing teams we've ever played. And I said, well, it's Goldbridge ball. I get used to this. If you want an autograph and a picture, here I am. But it's not difficult to train your team to pass and move. And, you know, the best team in the world at the moment is literally about that. But it surprises me how still at amateur level, teams are still hitting the percentage ball. And it frustrates me because it's really not hard to play the simple pass and move. And I think that's the way to beat Manchester City. I watched Bayern Munich last year. They had a lot of the ball. They just didn't have a striker or a centre-back. And Man City will keep beating teams who can't go toe-to-toe with them in relation to the way that you want to play. And that's why teams like Brighton tend to give Man City a bit, you know, Pep is so complimentary about people like De Zerbi because they actually come and play football, and that can cause Man City a problem. Dylan said, what realistically can the Premier League do about City, though? 115 charges against them as it is, and no one cares. And when are you next coming to Dublin, says Dylan. I might come to Dublin, you know, on a personal level, but on a show, I don't know. Do you see a scenario where Arsenal or Liverpool win the league? As a Liverpool fan, I don't, and it's really sad because we've got a strong squad, says Kyle. Another shot for Man City there. You know what? This is controversial, right? As much as Man United are shit at the moment, it might not be a bad thing to be shit at the moment. Like, if somebody said to me, in the next 10 years, you can have 2 years where you've got a team good enough to win the league, I'd say, can we have it from 2028? 5 years' time. I don't want it now. There's no point, because we won't beat Man City. And that could be a problem for Arsenal, and it could be a problem for Liverpool, because you've got... Arsenal had a team good enough to win the league last year, but Man City were too good. Liverpool, although they've won the league once, Liverpool should have won 3 Premier League titles in the last 5 years. Twice. Liverpool didn't win the league and they got like 97 points. Like, you know, Liverpool could have won... Liverpool should have had an era where they won the league 3 or 4 years. But they won it once. Arsenal should have won it last year, and they didn't. So I wouldn't even want a team that can challenge for the title, really, at the moment, if it was going to be a short-lived thing, because it's wasted. Man City are too good. They're too good. Is there anything bad about football currently to you that is making its way into youth matches, under 17s, under 15s, says Mest? I think that yeah, I mean, look, there's a few things. I just think that... Hold on a minute. Glenny Boy says, you're spot on about Arsenal's invincible. They could have easily gone unbeaten and still not won the league had United not fallen away due to injuries, says Glenny Boy. And have you ever thought, you know what I'd love to see about the Invincibles? I would love to see this happen. People don't realise this could happen. I would bloody love someone like Sean Dyche to go invincible, but only finish bottom half. Like, they never get beat, but they don't win. Like, you know, the thing about the Invincibles is you could be invincible but not win the league. Like, a treble is much better than Invincibles, like 100%, because Invincibles is just you didn't get beat. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You could get 38 draw. You could get relegated. Mark, do you ever see a manager being able to outplay, combat Pep's style of play? Also, do you think the Prem will slowly become diluted by Man City's dominance, says Abraham? I think it already is, Abraham. I think it's really... and I just want to say, before I say this, I am a bitter, jealous bastard. Like, 100%. I don't need to pretend I'm not. Like, I am petulant, stubborn and bitter when it comes to football. And I'm a Manchester United fan, and I hate not winning. And I'm sure Liverpool fans feel the same, and Arsenal fans feel the same. I can respect and understand how good Man City are, but I don't have to like it, and I can be bitter and jealous about it, because that's what rivalry is all about. So I will say that straight away. I am bitter and jealous about Manchester City, as I was bitter and jealous about Liverpool in the late 80s. It is what it is. That's what supporting your own team is all about. But to the question, where you said, do you think the Premier League will slowly become diluted by Man City's dominance? And do you ever see a manager being able to outplay Pep's style of play? The Premier League is already in trouble, because Man City, most people said Man City have won this league before the league even started. So they've already got a problem. They've got a problem with a team that everybody knows is going to win the league before it starts. This happens in France and it happens in Germany. And I've heard Man City fans try to deny this, and I will argue with them on that. They'll go, oh, stop it. You know, we haven't won it before it's over. But perception's everything. And everybody I've spoken to, from Arsenal to United, Liverpool to Chelsea, everybody said before the season started, it's not even a joke. This is probably the one season where everybody is saying Man City have won it before the ball's even been kicked. So that's the problem for the Premier League, because you can't, you know, it is the best league in the world, and you could put Man City into any league in the world and they'd be the best team in it as well. They're just comfortably better. But could you God, nearly 3-0. Could you stop? Is there a way to stop Pep Guardiola? I think the way to stop, and there's no other goals in the Premier League, by the way. It's still 0-0 between Palace and Fulham, and it's still 0-0 between Luton and Wolves. There is a way to stop Pep Guardiola, but Pep Guardiola is too bloody clever to be caught. Pep Guardiola's whole career is about putting himself into a situation where he can't lose. And he learnt it at Barcelona. And look, his CV is not that big in relation to clubs that he's managed when you compare it to someone like a Conte or a Mourinho. Pep Guardiola puts himself into positions where a lot of managers would be successful. But on top of that, he's better than all the other managers. So what I mean by that is, if Ancelotti had managed that Barcelona side that had, you know, Messi, Xavi and Iniesta, he would have won the Champions League and La Liga. If Ancelotti had managed that Bayern Munich side that Pep Guardiola had, he would have won the Bundesliga. Did I just say Barcelona would have won the Bundesliga? Champions League and La Liga, yeah. If Ancelotti was in charge of this Man City side, he would win the Premier League. So Pep Guardiola, who is better than most managers, also only puts himself into situations where other managers would be successful anyway. He's a very, very clever guy who will not put himself in a position where it's a major challenge. He puts himself into situations where it's comfortable. So to defeat Pep Guardiola, you've got to be on a level playing field, is what I'm trying to say. And Jurgen Klopp's not on a level playing field. Arteta's not on a level playing field. De Zerbi is not on a level playing field. And for me, they're the three best managers in the Premier League at the moment with Pep. So to challenge Pep Guardiola, you've got to be on a level playing field, and nobody is. So no, I don't think you can challenge Pep Guardiola at the moment. And on top of that, even if you were on a level playing field, you probably need 2 or 3 years to build what he's built. So, yeah, I don't think anybody can live with Pep Guardiola at the moment because no one's got the infrastructure he's got, and nobody would have the 3 or 4 years he's had to build it either. So, no one's going to deal with him. The only thing that's going to deal with Pep Guardiola is Pep Guardiola and whether he wants to leave. Everyone waiting for Pep to leave to make the league more competitive. Has it ever happened in history of football? Rivals waiting for a manager to quit, says Ravi. And isn't it down to other clubs to rise to City standards, says Nicholas. As a Spurs fan, I can think of many times we had the chance to push on but didn't, says Nicholas. It is down to other clubs to challenge, but how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you challenge Manchester City? Look, I'll tell you a club that could challenge Man City, Spurs. But they need they need a billionaire owning the club. And they need probably 3 or 4 years to build the squad. You need the money. You know, the reason Man United fans get excited about Qatar is because you go, oh, we've finally got the money to, spend. Hi, Mark. Do you think Palace can squeeze top 4? Absolutely not, Oscar. And Mark, look at Chelsea's run post-international breaks as Total Football. Is it good or bad? We'll have a look at that. Sheikh Jazim will give Eric Ten Hag the level playing field, says Danny. Yeah, but I think Liverpool need that level playing field as well. Going back to what Oscar said. Did I read this right? Hi, Mark. Do you think Palace can squeeze top 4? Mate, I think there's more chance of me squeezing a baby out my arse than there is of Palace squeezing top 4. And what I mean is it would defy medical science for me to give birth to a child, and there's more chance of that than Palace getting top 4. And if I get clipped up on that, I'll be stunned because they're not going to be able to do it. Let's have a look around the grounds at the moment. Specifically, I just want to have a quick look at Solihull Moors here, my local team. Not going to deny it, because it is factually and geographically my local team. They've had a great start to the season. They're unbeaten. They're at home today, and I don't know what are they playing today? Yeah, they're at home to Bromley. 0-0 after 35 minutes. There we go. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. Appreciate that. Interesting conversation going on. Do you not think the 115 charges for City will be a problem? No. No, I don't. I tell you what. Just talking about England for a moment. Interesting, isn't it, about Gareth Southgate turning up for this game? Obviously, it was a bit controversial, to say the least, that he picked Harry Maguire and Calvin Phillips for the England squad. There's another international break coming up very, very soon. And I think Calvin Phillips hasn't played many minutes for Man City since the last one. And Harry Maguire's not played any minutes for Manchester United since the last one. And he's going to be picking those players again. Are you going to manage the YouTube All-Stars next year, Mark, says William? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, for one, you've got to be asked to do it. I mean, I felt they did me dirty this year. I don't think. Yeah, talk about a level playing field. I think we were done dirty this year. I'd like it. I'd like a level playing field, but we'll see. Robbo says, it makes me laugh when on BT they have Jolene Lescott as the Man City rep, treating them like an ordinary cub who have to compete like anyone else. It's to create some sense of tension, but they're not fooling anyone, says Robbo. Are you going to do a United stand watch along? 100% no, yes. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you the positive thing about the Sidemen charity games though. It's got me to get my boots back on. You'll have seen a couple of football challenges videos I've done, and I've got a couple more coming up as well. So one positive about it is it's really frustrated me to get my boots back on and sort of get out of retirement. I'm even thinking about doing some games next season. because there are some like charity games and stuff, and I'm thinking, Goldbridge ball as a coach, yes, we know it's proven, but maybe we can roll back the years and get in that CDM role and just conduct the game. But I've just realised, actually, that's not the positive from the Sidemen charity game. It's one of the positives, but the main positive is the money that was raised for charity. Apparently, we've got a red card in the Wolves game. This would be tragic for me. It is. We have. Bloody hell. Luton could be heading to their first points of the season. Wolves are down to 10 men. And I'll tell you what, it's Bellegarde who's been sent off. But more importantly, what did I say on the podcast on the international break? We were talking about who the next manager is going to get sacked. And I said, they've played some good stuff, but their results aren't good. Gary O'Neill. I think Spurs have played... sorry, not Spurs. I think Wolves have played some good football, but good football doesn't keep you in a job. And that could be absolutely massive. Sometimes you choose the least harmful option to save the legacy. Arsenal can't affect us. Liverpool win equals our 20, but doesn't exceed 3 consecutives, says Sati. I need a stretch. Goldbridge ball sucks. I prefer Wingrove ball, says Meme. Yeah, but that's because you're a basic person. You've got no concept of what style of football we played. Wingrove ball was basically, we've got the better team, and just go out there and hoof it, long ball. We actually pass the ball and move into space. Is your back pain still there, says Jack? Yeah. Look, on a level playing field with the same squad, Goldbridge ball would kick the shit out of anybody. Like, it would destroy anybody. I think the only person who could live with it was probably Pep, De Zerbi, and maybe Prime Mourinho. But if you give me the same 11 players as everybody else, you're going to get taken apart. You'll get taken apart like a lion takes apart a zebra. Wrexham are getting spanked as well, says Savage. Oh, I tell you what, I hadn't even thought of that. So Wolves are down to 10 men here. And another free kick for Man City. Wolves are down to 10 men. And in League 2, Wrexham are losing 3-0 to Stockport in the first half. And Gary Neville's Salford are losing 2-1 to Harrogate. I mean, that'll make Ben Foster feel better. I think he felt that Wrexham were getting smashed because of him. And he's not in goal today. So, it's obviously nothing to do with him. Objectively, why do you think 95% of City's signatures come in and play and perform so well, unlike other players such as United, says Radu? This is a great question. Mark, when are you going to come down under, says Ali, to Australia? And hi, Mark, if City was charged tomorrow, would there be a team that would replace them? If not, how would it work? Also, come on United, big game in a few hours, says Joshua. Let's see what happens with this free kick from City. This is a great question from Radu, who basically says this. If Manchester United were to... why is it Manchester City can do what Pep does, where he loses 3 players that are key players every summer, signs 3 players, and they arguably get better? How does that happen? I'll tell you how it happens. It's called infrastructure and intelligence in recruitment, which ultimately comes from specialism in recruitment. So Pep Guardiola will know that Nunez at Wolves will drop into his midfield and seamlessly work. Kovacic as well, who isn't even fit at the moment. Doku, Vardiel. These players, he will know through work with his recruitment team that these players are Manchester City players. And that's why it works so well. Probably better than anybody apart from Brighton on recruitment, Man City, because it's low-key and it's effective. When they got Kovacic, I thought that's a really intelligent signing, but Mount and Havertz got more attention. And I was like, Kovacic is the best signing there. He's the cheapest as well, but he's the best. Like, Kovacic is a brilliant signing. I'd rather have bought Kovacic than Mount. I'd have rather bought Kovacic than Havertz. And that's nothing against Havertz and Mount. Kovacic is the best player. And Man City just do it seamlessly. Do a poll of players homegrown, youth and foreign, then use them to make your best 11. Goldbridge Ball, says Zeus Reed. Well, Goldbridge Ball is up and running on FIFA. We're playing Highline, passing football. It's not clicked totally yet, but you can check it out on my channel, the Mark Goldbridge YouTube channel. We started yesterday and it's back with episode 2 on Tuesday. We're nearly at half-time here, 43 minutes. It's going to be a cracker on the United stand tonight, by the way. Make sure you tune in. Mark, I support LA Galaxy as my second team, and I think we should go for Puig. I can't pronounce his name in the summer. The kid is special. I can't pronounce that name, Mario, and I apologise for it. I really, really do. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. It's 2-0 here between Manchester City and Nottingham Forest. City are cruising. But it's 0-0 between Crystal Palace and Fulham, and it's 0-0 between Luton and Wolves. But I can tell you this, in the Luton and Wolves game, you might be asking, what are the stats like? Well, they've had 8 shots to Wolves 0, Luton, but it remains 0-0. Luton have got to go and get the points. They have to go and get the points there. That situation is ridiculously in their favour. They have got no points this season. It's an open goal for them. They've got to do it. This is a big day for Luton. We've always said that their home form is going to be the big form. And they've just got to go and do it. Now, can they do it? Let's wait and see. Still time, of course. But it's way, way too easy for Manchester City here, as we would have predicted it would be. But I'm looking forward to Man United's game tonight. I don't like Saturday night 8 o'clock games. I know it works really well for the rest of the world, but if you're a traditionalist like me, Saturday nights should be steak and chips with a poached egg and some beans on your lap, watching Saturday night takeaway and then film. It shouldn't be Burnley versus Man United on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock. I'm not a fan. I love football. You know I love football. But I'm not a fan of Saturday night at 8 o'clock football. And that's just who I am. That's just where I am with that. Saturday night dance, I like the way you move. Be my babe. We have to win. We have to win tonight, United. We have to win. The pressure will be massive if we don't. Here's a question for you. I know I'm on YouTube, but I've just seen that Manny has gone to Kick streaming. Fabrizio has gone to Kick streaming. I don't even know. Well, I do know what it is. I'm not an idiot. But what are your general thoughts on it? Like, is it? Does anybody use it? Hi, Mark. I have an analogy about Hoyland. I'll be your Hoy You be my Lund. Don't be mad. Boyfriend forced me to say this, says Saley. She's back again. Somebody said XQC got 100 million for moving to kick. He got a few million to playing goal for me, didn't he? Bloody hell. The incentive seemed... Check his bank account. Didn't even need the bloody money. That was a joke, by the way. I'm not going to kick. I just saw the tweet there from Manny and I thought, ooh, what's that all about? I went to Twitch. I love these streams because we can just have an open chat. But if somebody offered me 100 million quid to go to kick, then I'd be an idiot not to do it. But I did go on Twitch. I took FIFA Career Mode onto Twitch. And I've got nothing against Twitch, but I just... it's like being with a girl that you really like and then you break up and you go with another girl and they're great, but, it's not as familiar and... you don't know all the moves and yeah. Look, I just prefer YouTube. To Twitch. That's just my stance. Luton, I think, might have a penalty. We'll keep an eye on that one. 5 minutes added on. I tell you what I liked, what I really liked. So tell us what you liked, what you really liked. I liked the Champions League this week, that at the end of the first half, it was like 1 minute. And then at the end of the full time, it was like 3 or 4 minutes. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Matthew Booth says, taking your FIFA career mode to Twitch was a mistake. Well, it wasn't, because it was okay, and then we used to just put the highlights up on YouTube. But where it was a mistake, I will acknowledge, is that yesterday we had 15,000 people watching the FIFA career mode, and on Twitch you probably end up with about 6. I just found out I'm going to be a dad. I'm 18. Do you have any advice? Says Boo. Don't. If I speak, I'll be in trouble. Just congratulations. That's all I'm going to say. It's half-time at Luton and it's not a penalty. And it's a half-time at Manchester City as well. And I can take my earpiece out for a moment and have a bit of a stretch. It's party time, yeah, it's party time, whoa. I strongly believe that United overpaying for players is a big factor, says Lee. If we paid 35 million for Maguire and 50 million for Anthony, they wouldn't look as bad. And do you think City can go invincible, says Ned. I think they probably can, yeah. I think they probably can. Whether they probably... No. What I'm just saying something because I'm experienced in filling time. They absolutely cannot. They absolutely cannot go invincible. No. There are many things that Manchester City can do, but I do not think that they can go invincible, if I'm being completely honest. But look, I might be right. I might be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look at the half times here, and I'm just going to whack. I always do this at half time. Let's just do it. But let's not forget, we're sponsored by Surfshark on the stream. Please do give it a download. You can get the first 3 months for free. What is Surfshark? It's a virtual private network. The best thing about Surfshark is if you're in a certain location and you want to access locations in a different location. So, i.e., if you're in London and you want to access you want to access like Netflix in the US, you can just change your location to New York or something like that. Give it a try. 3 months free with the code That's Football. Links in the video description, and you can scan the QR code next to me as well. I'm just doing something here that you might find interesting while it's half time, but I'll see if I can get it set up before we do that. Let me have a look. So, yeah, half-time, it's Crystal Palace against Fulham. Luton dominating Wolves, and Wolves down to 10 men, and they were dominating them before, but they've got to put the ball in the back of that net if they want to get their first win of the season. It's a massive opportunity for Luton. In relation to Fulham and Crystal Palace, really interesting, 50-50 on possession and pretty much 50-50 on shots. Having said that, Fulham have had 4 shots on target to Crystal Palace's 1. Arguably, Fulham have been the better side in that game so far. Incredible stuff, and big shout out to Fulham. They're doing great stuff at the moment, and probably don't get the respect they deserve. We've had another super chat coming in here from Robbo. Not just good recruitment, the culture and the development programme is much worse at United than City. You've said yourself, talented players eventually drop down a level if they stay there long enough, says Robbo. Well, there's a 16-year-old... lad from Manchester United who Man United offered better money to, and he's gone to Manchester City. And as much as that is, you know, shocking from that 16-year-old, actually, if I had a 16-year-old lad and Man United were offering him big money, I would want him to stay at Man United because I support Man United. But ultimately, his development is what's important. And, you know, supporting Man United or not, that lad's probably done that decision because of development. Plymouth are beating Norwich 4-0 at half-time in the Championship, by the way. Notable other scores. Ipswich are 3-1 up against Blackburn. They're doing great as well. And as we said, in the in League 2, Wrexham are 3-0 down at half-time at Stockport. And how are my lads doing? I'm talking about the National League. And I'm talking about Solihull Moors. They're just down the road from me. They're at home today. And they are currently drawing with Bromley. 0-0 at the moment. There we go. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Really appreciate that. Also, if you like the content we provide you, and I know some of you are very grateful and you do love the content, could I please just say, please do download the podcast while you're here. I put the link in the live chat, Goldbridge Saves Football. I know some of you have been watching it and enjoying it. Every Tuesday morning it comes out, Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. It's very different from like what we do on That's Football, but I would really appreciate your support in downloading it, and hopefully we can just keep putting a cat amongst the pigeons, because it's a pleasure to do it. And we're really enjoying doing the podcast, and we'd love your support. So please give it a download. I've seen people on Twitter saying Hannibal might get his first Premier League start. Is it true, says Zoltan? Even if I thought it, even if it was true, I wouldn't confirm it because it's way too early and it's a massive game, and I don't want to give Bayern Munich. I don't want to give Burnley any ideas. But you know, I hope that. Look, if we get enough people listening to the podcast, we'll put it on video. I will agree to that, Tejaz. Tejaz is a few people have said, can you upload the podcast as a video on YouTube? I tell you what, if we get more people listening to it, we'll definitely put it on video. How's that for a deal? Dougie says, your podcast, something I look forward to every Tuesday. Great. I'm just going to spend my points here, and then I'm going to show you. Basically, I'm going to play a bit of Bro Clubs at half-time. So I've let you into a bit of a secret there. Oh, I've got 2 points to spend here. Oh, I don't want to really spend that. There we go. Lissandro Martinez not available for Burnley, says Kudos. We had mentioned that, and your EAFC career mode is trending at number 2. What on YouTube? Don't tell me that. That'd be incredible. That'll be absolutely incredible if it is. I can't speak. If that is true, trending at number 2. Where's trending? It's hard to find trending on YouTube these days. Back of the net. It bloody well is. Mark Goldbridge channel is trending at number 2 on YouTube. Man United EAFC career mode. And that's incredible. That'll put a cat amongst the pigeons. It really will. It really, really will. Thanks, everyone. I am actually just going to try and see if we can... if it gives me a match, I might be able to chat away. Oh, look, it keeps doing this. That's why I'm not going to put it on the screen until I know it's working. I've had a super chat come in here. Thank you very much. It's from... oh, that was from C. Crest, who told us that. Appreciate that. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Mark, why do you like to show off, says Kathy. I really am not a show-off. I'm not a show-off at all. I'm very, very sarcastic, but I'm not a show-off. And as I've always said, any success is ours, effectively. I'm always the first person to say that in this world that we live in, then it can only happen with you. You know, you provide that situation. I'm loving this tracksuit, by the way. I don't normally wear tracksuits. It's got me back in it. Invite me to clubs, please. Well, I'm trying. I've got clubs on, and I'm in the lobby, but I can't find a game because it keeps dropping me out. I've tried this 6 or 7 times, and it does drop you out a little bit. Plymouth are doing great. Pieface is going to be loving it. We've got a really interesting second half coming up. Luton could be on their way to their very first points of the season. If you look at the league table and how it looks at the moment, Luton are currently rooted to the bottom of this league. No points for Luton. Oh no, they have got 1. No, that's as it stands. That's as it stands, surely. Luton haven't got a point, have they? They haven't got a point, have they? Luton haven't genuinely got a point. Have I got that wrong? United should extend Weghorst loan. Yeah, so Luton could be heading towards their first point, but it should be their first 3 points because Wolves are down to 10 men and Luton have dominated them. Colin says United should have extended Weghorst loan. Hey, we've got a game. I've got a game here. I've got a game. Do you want me to put it up on the screen? I have got a game here. Let me see if I can get it up. That's what she said. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Thank you. Enjoy the game.
Where am I playing? On the wing? Get me off the bloody wing. Cheeky gets. Right. The stupid thing about this is I'm going to start off really badly because I haven't got my camera on. I don't know why it's doing this. Let me come back here. I'm trying to get it to work. But I can't get my camera to work. I wonder if it's because of that. Let me try now. This shouldn't be doing this. This should be working. This is what happens when you try and do a good deed. All right, we'll just play without the camera. Right, I'm playing on the right-hand side here, top of the screen. This is Pro Club, so you only control one player. That's all you do. You control one player. So I'm in the top right-hand corner here. Now, let me just focus here. I love Pro Clubs, but it's... see, I'm going to keep discipline. Where's Duncan? We've got PJ here. Right. I'll take it wide. I'll take it wide. Oh. Give it me. I should be playing through the middle. Right, give it me. Oh, not him. I'm not quick enough to play on the wing. I don't like playing on the wing. Every player that's... Yeah, me! Me! Watch this. Give it me back. Give me! Oh, I get really angry playing Pro Club. Where's your face, bro, says KFG. Why don't you just do Luton Wolves as the watch-along? I think everyone would enjoy that. Yeah, we'll turn that on in the second half, I think. Give it me on the far post. Greedy bastard. Back post. Back post. Whip it. Cut back. Cut back. Goldbridge. Get in, you bastard. Get in. Come on. Get in. Come on. Get in! Yeah, that's what we came here for. I love pro clubs. I love it. Goldbridge, look, 39. I've run offside now. I need to fix my camera so that you can see me. I am still here, by the way, look. Hello. I just don't understand why my camera's not working. I will try and fix it. Oh, lay it off. I can live off that goal for ages now. Second half's not kicked off yet. Oh, Goldbridge with the header. Look at that. Towering. Give it me. I'm behind you. I'm the man. Goldbridge again. They need to get him on the ball. That's what the crowd are saying. Get him on the ball. Need to fix this camera. Oh, that's not my fault. That's not my fault. Look at that. Prat. I'm not controlling anybody apart from the guy at the top of the screen. There you go. That's all I'm controlling. Come on, get on with it. What are you waiting for? Look at Goldbridge. He's wasted on the wing. That's what they're saying. Get him up front. Back post. Back post. Oh. Look at me. I'm free. Second half's about to start in the Man City game. We'll be done here quick. Don't worry. It's just a bit of half-time fun. Switch it! That was a terrible ball. Keep it on the ground. What's that? Bloody hell. Give it me. Oh, he's a greedy twat up front. Oh, I'm getting booked. I'm definitely getting booked. That's late. I think I will put Wolves Luton on. It's half time there. Right. Why is my video capture not working? That's that. It's very frustrating. Bin it off. Plus. Get rid of that. I don't know. I don't understand why that's not working. It's very, very frustrating. We've kicked off in the second half against with Man City here. I'm going to put Wolves Luton on as well. A couple of super chats coming in. They took the risk and put Kuna Wolves striker in my for FPL. Wolves been good, but unluckily this year, says Anvil. And your AFC career is trending at number 2, says Seacrest. Right, we've got the game back on it. I'm just going to play this second half. I think people prefer the... Oh! Red card for Rodri! Red card for Rodri! Red card for Rodri. Get in the bin. This game's suddenly interesting. It's very interesting. I'm not so sure what happened, but let me keep an eye on it for you. He's gone. He's not happy. Let's have a look. I'm trying to keep an eye on this whilst playing out my second half. He's trying to get it appealed. I've just conceded a second goal on EAFC Pro Clubs. There's a lot of talk going on here. Clear red, says Fennick. It cannot be overturned. Oh, hands round the neck. Hands round the neck. Gotta go. Gotta go. Grab by the throat. Gotta go. That's what it's all about. He won't be getting that overturned. Yeah, he's gone. It's exactly like Casemiro, and it's got to be gone. They cannot overturn that. Now, can Forest get back into the game? If they overturn that, it's a bloody disgrace. And I don't think they will. They'll be thinking about that Casemiro thing, and he has got to go. If they overturn this, I will go mad. VAR should not be checking it at all. Yeah, he's got to go. Hands round the throat. They're having a look at it. Apparently Wolves have scored. Foden should get sent off as well, says Sultan. I don't know what Foden did. Wolves have scored against 10-man Luton. It could be a bloody nightmare. I've lost my man here. He's gone. Rodri has gone. Get off. Cheerio. Cheerio, Rodri. Cheerio. It's never going to get overturned. You've grabbed him round the neck. Does it open up the game a little bit? Well, the Wolves-Luton game's been opened up a little bit because Wolves are winning with 10 men against Luton with what must be their only shot on target. Off Rodri goes. They were never turning that around. Imagine if they did. I'm just trying to finish this FIFA game because it's very frustrating. They won't pass to me, and I'm the best player. Come on. Just pass, you twat. There's only 7 minutes to go. Come on, I'll have that. Here we go. Watch this for a switch of the play. What a ball. I tell you what, I've just hit a 40-yard pass. Pass! Not bad. I'm free! You didn't even bloody cross it, you prick. 7.7 my rating. Can Forest get back into this? It's about to be 4-1. Great save, keeper. Get it out. Hey, save again. Down the line. I'll have it. Oh, lay me. Oh, that's a... Here we go. He's done it again. What a pass. What a pass. Oh, I need to get off this. Goldbridge, let me show you this. We lost 3-1, but there's Goldbridge, top passer, 7.7. I am what I am. I am what I am. Anyway, back here. I am what I am. That'll be some more points. Don't worry, I will be streaming some of this. Pro clubs. I'm building a team, a United Stand team for pro clubs, and we'll properly stream it. But for now, let's get back here. What's going on? Well, I tell you what's going on. I was just playing at half time. Wolves have got 10 men and they're winning 1-0. It was a goal by Neto, and the assist, I believe... Was there an assist on it? Loose ball. Doesn't look like it. Still 0-0 between Palace and Fulham. But Luton, what an opportunity. I tell you what, let's be fair. Let's be honest here. Calvin Phillips is coming on. Southgate will love it. Let's be honest here. If Luton get beaten by 10 men at home, by a team that's down in the bottom, then they're in big trouble, aren't they? Rodri will be out for 3 games. So, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I probably am wrong, would that not be 3 domestic games? So he can count his Carabao Cup game as one of them. So he'd miss the Newcastle game in the Carabao Cup, then he'd miss the Wolves game, and then he'd miss the Arsenal game. Oh, now then, Arsenal fans are getting excited. Rodri misses the Arsenal game. That could be a big boost for... there's no doubt he's the best holding midfielder in the world. And apparently it's 3 Premier League games, so the Carabao Cup doesn't matter either, which would put him out the Brighton game as well. He's back for the Man United game. Yeah, well, that's the sort of season we're having, isn't it? Piss off. If you didn't see what happened with Rodri, a bit of chesting, a bit of head-to-head, a bit of chest, a bit of head, and then he decided to do the world's quickest choke in the world. He went like that. But he did it in a violent way. You know, Casemiro, when he did it against Palace, he sort of grabbed him there. Rodri literally went round the neck for about a second. But he did grab him round the neck. It was a momentary loss of temper, but it certainly was. It certainly was going to be a red card. It was the definition of putting hands round the throat. Southgate's dreams are coming true. Players are getting injured and getting red cards so his favourites can play. It's such a shame, says Milton. Lee says that Wolves have had only one shot on goal, and that was the goal. Well, can Forest do anything here with half an hour to go? Put a cross in. I personally do not think that that Forest will get back into it. Because as you can see, 10 men. Martinez is definitely out of the Burnley game, by the way. 100% confirmed. Martinez not in the Manchester United squad. I'm trying to find out what the issue is. Injuries all over the place. Sangari's coming off for Manchester City, for Nottingham Forest. Just going to run a poll. Some people are arguing about the Rodri red card. Look, I can be pragmatic and I can be, fair. If that was Casemiro, I'd be fuming because it's such a momentary mistake. He sort of grabs his neck and then realises. So, you could say common sense wise, come on. Is that really the thing to do? But I think it is a red card. Yeah, I think it is a red card because it just shows it was a lapse in concentration, but it's still a red, says Calvin. Yeah, it shows violence. Like, would you, if you're in an argument down the pub with somebody, would you momentarily put your hands around their neck? No, most people wouldn't. So he shouldn't have done it. Ryan just said he's not being risked foot pain, says Ronnie. Yeah, this is an issue with Martinez. He's had foot pain a few times this season, and that's what has been the issue. Red all day, says Lion. 86% of you are saying a red, yes. Oh my God, it's heads again. Send them both off. No, that should be red. That should be another red. That should be another red. In my book, that's a red card. They're pushing each other's head on each other. That should be a red. It's violent conduct, and it's longer. He's had to pull them apart. They're like that. Like a couple of rams. It's violent conduct. That's more violent than Rodri going like that. What's worse? What's worse? A player momentarily grabbing someone's neck, momentarily going like that, or two players with their foreheads going like that against each other. Like a couple of balls, says Manish. Apparently Harry Kane scored a hat-trick. I just want to see Man City get most of their players sent off. I think it'd be hilarious. Harry Kane has 3 goals and 2 assists for Bayern, says Kevin. He's playing in a very, very easy league, mate. I'm just saying, it's a very easy league. Still half an hour to go here. And what's going on here? I've lost my live chats. Where are you? Oh, here you are. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe, by the way. We're getting very close to 24,000. We're on 23,750. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with That's Football. We've got the North London Derby for you tomorrow. It's a 2 p.m. kickoff. So big weekend of football. Obviously, I'm on the United stand tonight. I'm sure a lot of you will be tuning in, whether you support United or not, hoping for a bad result, you arseholes. But I will be live tomorrow afternoon on here, 2 o'clock, North London Derby, Arsenal against Spurs. I'm going Arsenal. I think Spurs have had a great start to the season. What an opportunity it is for them. But I think Arsenal will be too strong. And there's some cracking other games we'll be keeping an eye on at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Arsenal against Spurs will be the featured game. But there are some cracking games at 2 o'clock tomorrow, including Chelsea against hosting Aston Villa, Brighton hosting Bournemouth, Liverpool hosting West Ham, all at 2 o'clock tomorrow. I mean, what did you think? Here's a good question for you. What did you think about Brighton losing to AEK Athens? We've got a penalty for Luton as well. I have a penalty for Luton. Massive. Penalty to Luton Town. Now then, are Luton going to get on the board for potentially, I tell you what, have you seen that penalty? I'm not so sure. That's not a penalty for me. It's deflected off his leg. It's never a penalty. That ain't never a penalty for me. Absolutely never a penalty, that. It flicks up of his arm. And Romero's went direct onto his hand. That's a disgrace. I don't know whether you've seen it, but if they give that penalty, it's an absolute disgrace. So he has a shot, the Luton player, and it deflects off. The arm's up, but it deflects off the leg onto the arm. And he's kept it. It's a fucking disgrace. That is an absolute disgrace. So Romero, Man United, blocks with his hand, no penalty. Luton hits the player's leg up onto the hand, penalty. What an absolute disgrace that is. That is disgusting. Welcome to the Premier League, everybody, where they'll contradict themselves within days. One thing will not be a penalty, and then it is. How in the same league can you have a penalty where it hits the leg and then hits the arm, but not give a penalty when it directly hits the hand? That is an absolute outrage. Clip me up on this. Wolves should be taking the Premier League to court because that is fraudulent. Romero blocked Garnacho's shot with his arm outstretched. No penalty. Wolves player hits his leg, goes up onto his hand, penalty. How the hell is that happening in the same league, and how the hell is that fair? What is the point of VAR? What is the point of this league when in the very same season, virtually a few weeks apart, you've got contrasts in that? It's absolutely disgusting. And that's the problem with this league. Clip it. Absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. I can't get my head around that. I'm not even a bloody Wolves fan. It's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. I'm telling you. These refs are bloody reality TV producers, says Nick. I've got high blood pressure. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I had to take a moment of silence there. I don't know what we're meant to do as fans. I don't know what we're meant to do as fans anymore. I don't know what we're watching. I don't know what. I really don't know. And look, I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are happy that Luton have scored, but let me just explain this to you. And Luton have been victim themselves. Luton were victims against West Ham, but AAK played on the break. Brighton are weak to it, says Gaz. And they need to seriously fire these referees. I'm shocked managers aren't banding together to complain about this. Well, I don't know. They earn a lot of money. They earn a lot of money, don't they? Everybody seems to earn a lot of money out of the Premier League. But I'm literally sat here. Sat here stunned. And Adam's right Two wrongs don't make a right. So what we're discussing here is, and I'm sure a lot of you probably haven't, been aware of both of these decisions. Some of you will be. Effectively, I'll give you three. Luton against West Ham. Friday night football a few weeks ago. Cross comes in, catches, was it Ward-Prowse on the arm? No penalty. Spurs host Manchester United in August. Garnacho goes to shoot. Romero puts his arm out like that, hits him full on the hand. No penalty. No penalty. Okay? Luton, just now, shoots, deflects up off the defender's leg onto his arm. Penalty. Tell me what world we're living in. Because I don't understand it anymore. We've got VAR, but we're complete. These referees talk to each other every fucking day. Howard Webb is their boss. How the hell are they not in his ear saying, you can't give a penalty for this, mate, because literally we haven't given penalties when it's hit them on the hand direct, and you've given a penalty because it's deflected off his leg. We literally cannot give this penalty. We're going to get ridiculed. They're not saying that. They're going, yeah, we're happy to go with you on that one. We're happy to go with you. I'm raging. I'm absolutely raging. And I haven't got a horse in this race. I don't care about Luton against Wolves. I've got no interest in it. But I'm raging about football. I am raging about this is coming to a club near you. It's a disgrace. Why do we put up with it? How, in the same league, in the same season, are we not getting a penalty if it hits you on the hand direct, but we are getting a penalty if it deflects off your knee and hits your hand? It's incredible. And then somebody's got an answer. I'm stunned. I just don't get it. How is it not a penalty if it hits your hand direct, but it is a penalty if it deflects off your leg and hits your hand? Incredible. And that's the league we're living in. That's the league we're living in. Oh, I don't know. It's disgusting. It's still 0-0 between Crystal Palace and Fulham, by the way. 70 minutes gone there. It's now 1-1 in Luton against Wolves. Wolves had, to be fair, only scored with one shot on goal. And it's still 2-0 between Man City and Nottingham Forest. Man City had Rodri sent off at the start of the first half, at the start of the second half. I don't think there'll be a way back for Nottingham Forest. I tell you what, the podcast is going to be very interesting on Tuesday. I'm going to tear it up. Ben Taylor nails it. He says they're making up the rules week to week and it's ruining the league. I'd be livid if I was a Wolves fan, says Button. Well, all I'd say to Wolves fan is go and watch the Romero penalty that wasn't a penalty, and then watch the penalty you've just conceded there and tell me that there's any justice or consistency. I'm not on TalkSport tonight, Savage, because United are playing at 8 o'clock, so no. Good cross into the box there, but he didn't get on there as well. Well, we're only a month into the new season. We've already had a hatful of terrible decisions. Somebody said in the chat that Højlund's injured. He's not. Factually not. I can't understand why I can't get my camera to work on Pro Clubs. I'll sort that, don't worry. You saw it on the stream. Goldbridge's first goal on Pro Clubs, if you're interested. Lissandro's definitely out, yes, but Højlund is not. Mark's secretly a Man City fan. How would that even work? Someone in the chat, Ruben just said, at least the fraudulent behaviour didn't happen to Manchester United. Mate, we haven't played our game yet. Still plenty of time. Do you think Maguire will play tonight? It depends if Rafael Varane is fit. You know, traditionally, Harry Maguire would be a good player to play against Burnley because they're physical and, you know, they like to put the balls in the air, especially under Dyche. But it depends, really. Obviously, you'd prefer Varane over Maguire, but is Varane fully fit to play? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Martinez has got a foot injury. We don't know how bad it is. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Appreciate your support. Is Evan Ferguson a homegrown player, says Crystal? Well, I'm not a Brighton fan, but I don't know when they signed him. To be homegrown, you've got to have played in the country for 3 years before you're 21. So if Evan Ferguson has been at Brighton since he was 18, he'll be fine. And he is only 18. So as long as he stays in the Premier League till he's 21, he'll always be a homegrown player, yeah. In the case of Hoyland, he's not classed. He's under. We bought him at 20, but he won't be a homegrown player because obviously he won't have played here for 3 years before his 21st birthday. Mark, what's your opinion on the Premier League referees? Says Tuna. I think they're absolutely terrible. I think they're a disgrace, to be honest. And you know what? I was watching a game this morning and the referee was fantastic. And this was amateur football. They were really, really good. And they were getting a lot of stick from people on the touchline. And they were getting a lot of stick from people on the pitch. And this is amateur football. And I was like, this is not acceptable. You know, they are, you know, amateur referees and they shouldn't be getting stick like that. And they've got no support. You know, the linesmen were literally, you know, mums and dads of the players that were playing. So they're out there on their own and they're getting all that stick. So I'm a defender of referees getting, you know, unfair abuse and, you know, players need to rein it in. But this is Premier League refereeing with how many have they got sat in that bloody office with the rule book? That's what pisses me off. This is not disrespecting referees. This is the Premier League where they've got people in their ear who can provide the consistency and support and choose not to do it. That is my point. They choose not to do it. So they deserve the criticism. They're absolutely shit. These referees that, you know, the real heroes are the people out doing it on a Saturday and Sunday at amateur level on their own with no support. They're the real referees that need respecting. These prats who are out there on the Premier League with people in their ear and they can't get decisions right, they're a bloody disgrace. They are an absolute disgrace. And they need calling out. LG says your interpretation is just wrong. Yeah, but you know what? You're a knobhead because you haven't told us why. Because you know what will happen. You'll get owned. Should the rules be reviewed by external companies, says Vine. I said it so many times about VAR. They only use VAR to protect the referee. They only use VAR to overturn the referee if it's a clear and obvious mistake. So they'll never overturn that because it's hit the hand. And they'll go, it's hit his hand, so we'll stick with you. They use VAR wrong. They use it wrong. What they should do is go, it has hit his hand, But already this season, we haven't given penalties when it's hit his hand without hitting his leg. So you need to overturn it, mate. But they don't. They treat every game as its own game. They don't look at consistency across the league, which is what fans want. So they'll have gone, we've done a VAR check. It definitely hits his hand. You've given a penalty, so you're okay to give a penalty. That's what they'll do. So they won't tell him to overturn it. But they should, because they should say, it does hit his hand, mate, but it also hits his leg first, and then it hits his hand. But remember Man United Spurs, we didn't give it. Remember Luton West Ham, we didn't give it. And that was direct on their hand without hitting their leg first. So you need to overturn that because we're looking for consistency, because we're meant to be the best league in the world. And they won't do that. They won't do that. Who do you hate more, Liverpool or City, says Fool's Gold Podcast. I don't hate anybody. But that is God's honest truth. VAR is not there to provide us with consistency. It is there to protect the referees. And that is why you will get one decision in one game and one decision in the other. We saw it last season. Andre Mariner, the VAR referee, told Anthony Taylor to send Casemiro off for that foul where his foot went over the top of the ball. The day before, Andre Mariner was the referee. There was 3 worse tackles. None of them were red cards. Zero, VAR is not actually the problem. The problem is the way that they use it. It's very frustrating. Still 0-0 between Crystal Palace and Fulham. Still 1-1 between Luton and Wolves. And I tell you what, and I'll tell you this for free as well, they may have had a penalty, and it may well have been a dodgy penalty, but there is absolutely nobody that can say that Luton don't deserve at least a point from this game. Statistically, they've had 16 shots to Wolves 4. But even before the red card, they'd had 8 shots to 0. Luton have to be turning these games into 3 points. And at the moment, it's not going that way. So if they want to stay up, they've got to win these sort of games. Robbo says, if you needed evidence of how refs are completely inept for VAR, is that video where you heard them chaotically talking over each other for that City goal against Fulham, says Robbo. Yeah, exactly. Scooby-Doo for centre-back, says Usman. I was very confident about the game today, but with Martinez out, I'm starting to feel a little bit less confident, if I'm being honest. I mean, look, Maguire should be playing in at least one of the next 2 games because we've got the Carabao Cup against Palace, haven't we? Thanks everyone who's tuned in, by the way. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. We've only got 5 minutes to go here. Pro Steve says play pro clubs. I will play some pro clubs, but not here now. That will be content coming. And don't forget to watch the first FIFA career, EAFC career mode. It's actually trending at number 2 on YouTube, we found out today. I didn't even know. So thank you everybody who's been watching and get involved in that. Episode 2 on YouTube on Monday at about 3:30. The poll overwhelmingly suggests that Rodri was right to get a red card, says Forhi. Yes, we've had nearly 10,000 votes, and 81% of you said Rodri should have got a red card. It was a moment of madness. It was a very, very brief grab around the neck. But, Your Honour, it's still a grab round your neck. And Rodri did get a red card, which will keep him out of the next 3 Premier League games, which includes a trip to the Emirates. So, big for Arsenal, that. Is EAFC any good? Says I've not played enough of it yet to say. I mean, I think you've got to play the game for at least a couple of weeks. And they will mess about with it as well. Ref conversations need to be televised for transparency, says Noop. High foot, yellow card here. Oh, there's 10 minutes to go in this game, by the way. My clock is very, very fast. Just while we've got a break in the play here, please do download the podcast. I've left the link in the live chat. Our new podcast. I know a lot of you have been listening to it. Please support it. Out every Tuesday morning. And nice to be in the podcast game. And certainly well worth listening to it. We're giving a prize out on Tuesday as well. I was meant to do this 3 weeks ago and I completely forgot. So we've got a prize to give out on the podcast on Tuesday. Fantastic little community. Get yourself part of it. Download it for later. Links in the live chat, Spotify and iTunes. Tanishk says, Pep punished Cancelo, Walker for their red, so surely Rodri gets benched after his suspension ends. I don't know. I mean, look, Pep's powerful enough to do that, but is he stupid enough to do that? Rodri's a massive player for them. Not only is he the best centre defensive midfielder in the world in relation to his ball retention and quality, he also pops up with some really important goals. Simon says the podcast is legendary, top class. Thank you, pal. Are you going to get Football Manager 24? Says Edith. I normally do it. I don't play it loads, but I did it last year, didn't I? And I got Solihull Moors promoted. Which I think shows you the quality of my managerial skills. It normally comes out in November, doesn't it? Windlord makes an interesting point. Is the Manchester City start a false picture of the league since they've had such an easy start? Have they had an easy start? Or is it just the fact that you'd expect Man City to win most games? I mean, an easy start for Man City, I beg to differ. I think if you look at their start to the season, they started off with a Sheffield United... sorry, they didn't. They started off away at Burnley. You'd expect them to win that. Let's see what Man United do tonight. Home to Newcastle. Not necessarily easy. Forest should score here. And what a shit shot that was. Newcastle at home. I'm thinking if this is Arsenal. Arsenal away to Sheffield United. Yeah, I'd expect them to win. Home to Newcastle. Maybe not. Away to Burnley. Yeah, you'd expect Arsenal to win that. So, yeah, okay, I'll take that on board. What else have they done? West Ham away. That's a difficult game. Fulham at home. Well, Arsenal drew that. So, yeah, I get what you mean. And Forest at home. I get what you mean. They've not really had a difficult game when you think about Liverpool have had to play Newcastle and Chelsea, both away. Man United have had to play Spurs and Arsenal, both away. Arsenal have got Spurs tomorrow. They've played Man United. So they've definitely had an easier start to the season than everybody else. But the flip side of the coin is, well, Man City would probably beat all of those. But Man City would probably beat Arsenal and Man City. Get your words out, Bridge. Man City would probably beat whoever you put in front of them. And I believe, like Cal, the league is already done. How's your fantasy Premier League doing, Mark? Well, if I told you, I don't think I've got anybody playing in any of these games apart from Erling Haaland. That sort of gives you the answer. I've got Onana in goal. I've got Colwill, Esteban and Saliba as my back three. I've got Rashford and Bruno. And I've got Saka and... I can't remember who my fourth midfielder is. And then I've got Haaland, Nunez and Jackson. For me, it's basically... A lot of people are saying you've got Onana in. Well, no, I've got Onana, Bruno, Rashford and Jackson, who are massive risks. And I nearly used my wild card, but I was like, I'm giving them one last week. Because I felt if I used the wild card this week, United will keep a clean sheet and score 5 with Bruno and Rashford filling their boots, and Jackson will score. So they'll probably do shit, but I just thought one more week. Mar says, Goldbridge, you're a go. Top 3 scorers this season. Haaland, Salah and Son. I can't remember who my third midfielder is. Let's see if fourth midfielder is. Oh, Matoma. I've got Matoma. So I might do all right this week. Because Brighton are at home to Bournemouth, aren't they? Look, if Man United can't get a bloody clean sheet against Burnley today, then I'm really in trouble. I'm in trouble. I've just remembered Martinez is injured, isn't he? Fuck. Not that we'd keep... Yeah, the defence at the moment ain't great. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook and the DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. We've got a goal for Luton. I think it was always coming. It's absolutely massive for Luton. It could be massive for Gary O'Neill. They've held out for a very long time. The atmosphere at Luton will be absolutely rocking. Although we're hearing it could be offside. Have you watched any RMA games this season? Says YJR. It's disallowed. We're hearing it's disallowed for Luton. It's offside. It would have been massive. It would have been massive. But apparently it's offside. Looking at the chat, I think it was legitimately offside as well. I think the player knew he was offside, and he was offside. We could be here for 3 hours and Forest will not score, says Maham. Yeah, look, even with 10 men, Man City can still see a game out. It's nearly over at Wolves, actually. I don't know. I mean, Wolves. It's a good point for Wolves. It's a good point for Wolves. Crystal Palace and Fulham 0-0. I'm trying to think about my win, lose or draw. I'm sure some of you watch Win, Lose or Draw with me and Ben Foster. We do it every Thursday. Predict the scores for the weekend. And I'm winning across the season so far. But we have a little weekly tenner based on it. I know I went for Palace to beat Fulham. And I know we both went for Man City to beat Forest. But I can't remember what I did in the Luton... Oh, I went Luton Wolves. I went Wolves to win. I said Wolves to win, but I can't remember what Foster said. I can't remember what he said. I think he went Wolves as well. But I think he might have gone Palace Fulham draw. So I might be one down here. No, he said a draw. Fucking hell. I'm down. What did he say in the Palace game? He said a draw. He said a draw in the Luton game. I'm down. I'm one down already. Shit. He did say Wolves draw, says Yazir. If he said a draw in the Palace game, I'm screwed. It's not looking good, Brev, says Minty. I'll be two down. Rodri did get a red. Yeah. And I'm beating him by 5 across the whole season. Where I can get it back, though, is he did say Burnley draw with Man United. So if United win that, I'm back. Pep punished Cancelo, Walker for their Reds. I've done that one. What's your thoughts on Bellingham this season, says YJR. You've got to be watching Serie A. You've got to be watching La Liga to have a proper opinion on that. And I'll be honest, I don't. Still think United win the Champions League, Mark, says Tom. Mate, it's too early in the season, isn't it? Last time I checked, the Champions League final's in May. It's September here. Do you think Tottenham are better than Liverpool at the moment, says the people? I think it'd be a good game. I think it'd be a good game. I really do. Palace Fulham, ball draw, 0-0. I tell you what, I nearly did put Edouard in my team as well, so I'm glad I didn't do that. Statistically speaking, in that game, 50-50. It's been a very equal game, Fulham and Palace. Very equal game. I've played the game. So another Premier League weekend and another huge talking point. If you haven't seen the Solihull Moors are 1-1 with Bromley, by the way. They equalised. They were 1-0 down. My local team. But yeah, if you haven't seen the penalty that Luton got, absolutely disgraceful. Ball shot and deflected up off the Wolves defender onto his hand. Penalty given. And yet this season already, we've seen penalties not given for shots that have gone straight at the hand. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. That, a penalty's been given for deflecting off the leg onto the hand, but we haven't been giving penalties when it hits directly onto the hand. Premier League referees in the mud again. I got rid of Eze. Awesome. I had Eze on my squad. I got rid of him. Back-to-back triples for City, says Cal. Well, you sort of have to look at it like that, don't you? They're going to win the league. The Champions League, is there anybody good enough in the Champions League to stop them? And then it's the FA Cup. It depends how seriously they take it, doesn't it? So, yeah, it'd be interesting. Seven minutes added on between Forest and Man City. Realistically speaking, do you think Man United finds a way to lose their match today? Says the man Dem. I don't think they will find a way to lose, but I think it's always possible that they could lose. I'll tell you what, Man City's temperament this afternoon has been terrible. We've had Rodri sent off for putting his hands on someone's neck. Ederson's gone head-to-head with someone. Grealish has just done it as well. Mate, you're at home to Nottingham Forest. You could win this in your dream. And I mean like asleep. Why are you getting so wound up? When are the EAFC... Hazzy says, when are the EAFC streams? Already started it, mate. First one was yesterday. On YouTube. Mark Goldbridge channel. It's trending at number 2, apparently. Check it out. Back on episode 2 tomorrow. Monday. We're back tomorrow with the North London Derby on this channel. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Thanks everyone who's tuned in today. And don't forget, 8 o'clock tonight, we're live. What a save by Ederson. We're live at 8 o'clock. In fact, we're live at 6:30 with the countdown to kickoff. But we're live on... the United stand for the Burnley game. But Nottingham Forest ain't going to get anything done here, are they? Seb says, will you get invited for Simon's Big Brothers Club one day? No, I think I get precluded from these sort of things because I'm too old. Ageist. Or too good. Probably the former. Hassan said Luton have had 19 shots to Wolves 3. They really should have won. I agree. Hassan, I agree. I'm in your club, definitely. Luton have to win these games if they want to stay up. I said this. If Luton can't win these games, where are the wins coming from? Like, Wolves are going to be a team down near the bottom. If you can't beat these teams at home when they've got 10 men, where are your points coming from? You know, they're not going to get much better than that. Sheffield United at home, maybe. Everton at home, maybe. I don't know where the points are coming from for Luton. They've probably been a bit unlucky today in relation to the amount of chances they've had, but you've got to create your own luck, and they've got to win. First point of the season. There's a genuine fear that Luton won't get 10 points. I think that would be incredible if they didn't get 10 points, but I don't see them getting 30. And therefore, I think it's instant relegation. Someone just said they're waiting to play Man United to get their points. You know what you can do? You can take your medicine tonight when we beat Fulham, Burnley. Right, that's nearly it. 30 seconds to go. Man City have won this game anyway, haven't they? Right, don't forget to tune in tonight on the United stand for Man United against Burnley. I can't do with losing. We have to win. I'm very up for this game. We have to win. Also, don't forget tomorrow for the game on the North London Derby, Arsenal Spurs. We'll be live at 2 o'clock for that. And finally, please download the podcast. It's in the live chat. Please give it a listen. Give it a try. Give it some support. I really appreciate that. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. It's on all podcast platforms. Give it a listen. Really interesting bit on the Champions League format that's coming in next year. Another disgrace. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all a little bit later on the United stand.